Observed globally on August 12th each year, the International Youth Day was established by the United Nations to spotlight cultural, legal and social issues affecting young people and to celebrate their role as active drivers of change. It's a day that recognizes youth as essential agents of transformation, particularly at the grassroots level where lofty global goals take on real-world meaning. This year's theme, Local Youth Actions for the SDG and Beyond, underscores the growing influence of community-based leadership. And in a world where young people form the majority of the population, their footprint in nearly every sector of development is undeniable. Uganda's connection to this day is unique. With 78% of its population under the age of 35, the country holds the title of the second youngest population in the world, only behind Niger, according to UNICEF. But with this youthful advantage comes a pressing challenge. Young Ugandans continue to fight for relevance in the nation's social, economic and political transformation, often against the backdrop of governance setbacks and administrative hurdles. This year's International Youth Day celebrations in Uganda arrive at a politically charged moment right in the middle of an electoral cycle. With the 2026 general elections fast approaching, one clear trend is emerging. Youth participation in politics is on the rise. Across the political divide, both the ruling NRM and opposition parties are actively wooing young voters, taking their campaigns deep into ghettos and youth hubs. The objective is clear: mobilize and draw this massive demographic closer to the decision-making table. But how do young leaders themselves perceive this moment? Are they being genuinely empowered or simply exploited for political mileage? Many see this as a perfect time for young people to stake their claim in Uganda's political space. But whether that translates into genuine empowerment remains a matter of debate.
At the current, we have a population, Uganda is one of the youngest countries in the world, with almost 80% of the people of this country are young people. So their participation in politics is inevitable, actually. So it is not that it's by want or by some people doing it, no. Definitely it was going to happen.
I insist that it's an opportunity availed to the young people. And whether it is substantial enough for us to be empowered is what I still stand to question. Because case study Eastern Uganda, we are 20 candidates running for the same position. And if you're to look at the region, is quite a number of square miles.
While we may seem like we're not aware of what is happening, we may seem to have been drawn back in the days before, but there has been more awareness that has been created, especially among the young people. So for me, I believe that for us to come out and contest for various positions, it's not exploitation, but rather it is because we have seen that there is need for us to be part.
There is a fallacy that has been built that perhaps politics could be lucrative. And I do not think this could be the driver for many young people to join politics. I don't think so. But if there is any way, any fact that could have persuaded young people to join the politics because they think it is lucrative, I think that would be a wrong one.
Several argue that youth representation in parliament does not reflect the needs and aspirations of the country's nearly 80% youthful population. They question why youth MPs are still classified under special interest groups, an arrangement they see as dizzy irony given the demographic reality and call for urgent legal reforms.
We contribute 79% of the total population of this country. But then when you look at our representation, for example, in parliament, at decision-making tables, it's only below even 15%. So that alone shows us that it is not proportionate. When we look at the cabinet as well, you find that the mean age has been over 60.
One thing I feel like maybe they've not been so vocal about youth issues. So this is where I urge fellow young people that are in government. You do not have to be a youth MP to actually echo out issues concerning the young people.
We must revise the laws that put in place these areas of legislation or representation. That can we have this, for example, be sub-regional? Maybe because we are also mindful, IJJO, of the many numbers in parliament. We are equally sensitive of that.
Beyond representation, the question lingers. Is the government truly committed to advancing youth interests? The ruling NRM's creation of ghetto structures is one such initiative that has stirred mixed reactions. Dr. Judith Nalukwago, an aspirant for the Makindye West LC5 Lord Councillor seat under the NUP, believes the regime's new focus on ghettos is less about empowerment and more about political necessity. She argues that the government ignored these communities for years until political rivals emerged from within them, forcing a sudden change in tone.
For a government that has been in power for over 40 years, is it, you mean it's the first time they are thinking of the ghetto? Does it have to, do they need an adversary of theirs to come from the ghetto to think about the ghetto? Because they have failed these people and they have not looked after them until an adversary came from that area. That is when they started thinking about them.
Dr. Shamim Nambasa, vying for the LC5 Woman Councillor seat for Kawempe South, echoes these sentiments, stressing that instead of using ghettos as campaign grounds, leaders should focus on empowering residents with business opportunities, mental health programs, and better education.
Young people do not need handouts. And that is what we are seeing with the ghetto structures. This money is, yes, being given out, but then we also look at the timing. We are saying that you've been in office for 30 years plus. Okay, let's just look at this particular term. You've been there for 5 years, but because we are going into elections, you then decide to come and give out these handouts.
But there are voices in support of the initiative. John Baptist Ouma, an NRM aspirant for the National Youth Member of Parliament Eastern Region, welcomes the ghetto structure, calling them a potential game changer, though he questions whether the beneficiaries truly want empowerment or simply the daily bread, locally referred to as mugati.
I think it's an opportunity provided by the government. The government has showed goodwill. Now the question goes back, IJJO, to are the young people or the people in the ghettos, are they willing, is their willingness to be empowered, or it is the famous mugati?
Edson Rugumayo, the incumbent youth member of parliament for Western Region, shares a similar view. While he sees value in reaching out to the ghettos, he warns against touching such outreach into yet another political playground that exploits vulnerable youth.
I would not like it if the government just needed these young people of the ghetto for maybe because it's an election season. But what we should do really take interest in is that I'm very much pleased that the government is taking interest in them, understanding their issues. That should be the beginning of it all. Not just dismissing them as a mere lumpen proletariat, but as a group of young people that are so and so in ghetto because of the conditions that are around.
Ultimately, the aspirations of Uganda's young leaders go beyond identity politics. Many are driven by the need to shape national policy, influence development priorities, and give a voice to the generation that will define Uganda's future. Whether their momentum leads to lasting empowerment or remains another electoral talking point is a test only time will answer. David IJJO, NTV.